What if you could get back 5 hours of your work week with one simple tool? Imagine never having to copy and paste between apps, manually update spreadsheets, or send those repetitive email notifications again. The secret? Any repetitive task you can do in software can be automated without writing a single line of code. Hi, I'm Tom from XRay.Tech, and today I'm going to show you how you can start automating your repetitive work with Zapier. I'll start by giving you the 90-second version of what Zapier is and why so many businesses trust it to eliminate their busy work. Then I'll show you how to build your first automation in Zapier step by step. Along the way, I'll share 5 game-changing pro tips that work across all automation platforms, skills that will make you your team's go-to no-code expert. Let's get started. First, real quick, what's Zapier and how can it help you and your company? Zapier is a no-code automation provider. That means it lets you connect the apps you already use to automate your daily tasks. These automations, or Zaps, can be set up in a million different ways, but the basic pattern is this. When an event happens in one app, automatically perform an action in another app. So for instance, you might want to set up a Zap that starts running whenever someone fills out a contact form on your website. Then, your Zap could automatically send your new contact an email and alert you in Slack or Microsoft Teams. You could use Zapier to connect your e-commerce store to your accounting software, so every purchase in Shopify or Magento is immediately logged in QuickBooks or Xero. You could connect your CRM in HubSpot or Pipedrive to OpenAI to prepare a custom brief on each new lead, draft an intro email for you, and send you the draft for your review. These are just a couple of examples. With over 8,000 integrated apps, the possibilities are literally endless. But the bottom line here is that no-code automation tools like Zapier can save hours of manual work for you each week, all while creating more consistent, reliable processes for you and your team. Next, I'm going to show you how to build your first Zap so you can unlock these time-saving benefits yourself. The Zap we're going to build today is going to be very simple. It's going to run whenever there's a new row added to a specific Google Sheet. Then it will send an automated email to the addresses in that row. Now, to be clear, this is just a basic example to show you how Zapier works with some easily accessible free apps. If you don't use any of these apps in your day-to-day work, that's okay. The same principles will apply to any other software you want to automate with Zapier, or any other automation provider for that matter. Providers like Make, Pipedream, and N8N look a little different, but they work in largely the same way. To get started, sign in to Zapier. You can follow along with a free plan. Once you've signed in, click on Create. I'd recommend creating a folder first. It's a good way to stay organized from the beginning. Then, in your new folder, create a new Zap. You'll see a blank canvas with the skeleton of an automation, one empty trigger and one empty action. That brings us right to my first pro tip for Zapier. Zaps always follow this basic structure. One trigger that kicks things off, then any number of automated actions that follow in sequence, one after the other. To set up a trigger, start by picking the app you want to use. For our example, that will be Google Sheets. If you're feeling a little cramped with this builder that pops up on the side, you can just click here to expand it. Next, you need to choose the trigger event. What specifically is going to make this automation run? For us, that will be New Spreadsheet Row. Be sure to read these options carefully. You'll sometimes have some very similar choices. For instance, there's also a New or Updated Row option, which would run every time we update any row in the spreadsheet, which we don't want. With your app and trigger chosen, you'll need to authorize Zapier to access the app in question. This will look a little different based on the app you choose, but typically it just involves signing into the app however you normally do, and confirming the permissions Zapier asks for. That's all we're doing right now for Sheets. With some apps like OpenAI, you may need to provide other credentials like an API key, but Zapier will usually tell you how to find this info. With your app connected, you can now continue to the configuration screen. When you configure a trigger, you'll generally be telling Zapier which exact items it should watch for updates. In this case, that means picking the precise sheet and table to check for new rows. This leads me to pro tip number 2. When building a Zap, always have test data ready to go, a sample version of whatever it is you want to automate. In this case, I've got a Google Sheet right here, with a row filled in that we can use as an example of the new row. Having this test data will let us see exactly what kind of data Zapier can retrieve and process as we're building. So back in Zapier, I'll select this sheet and table from the list. Then test the trigger. Wait just a moment. And now we see the retrieved test data. It's broken up into separate variables, one for each column in the sheet, as well as some metadata. Perfect. Next up, we can continue with this record and add an automated action in the Zap. Need quick support building Zapier automations? With LowCodeEngineers.com, you can get expert guidance from a hand-picked engineer in 48 hours or less. Whether you need to set up an automation, website, or database, our team at LCE will help you get it done and learn how it all works with one-on-one collaborative building calls. And there's no long-term commitment, just schedule as much time as you need on a flexible hourly basis. We guarantee that you'll make progress in every session, getting one step closer to accomplishing your goals with Zapier, Make, Airtable, Softer, or any other low-code app. Just go to LowCodeEngineers.com to speak with an expert and get paired with an engineer this week. Now let's get back to building. Adding an action starts out very similar to setting up a trigger. First, you pick the app you want to use. For us, that's Gmail. Then you choose the action you want to automate. In this case, that will be sending an email. Note that you can also create a draft if you prefer to check the contents yourself and send it out manually. But I'll just stick with a fully automated process. And once again, you'll need to authorize the app. Now we can configure the automated action. Again, the exact settings will depend on the app and action you're automating. Creating a new product in Shopify will have different options compared to sending an email or updating a lead in HubSpot. But no matter what you're creating or updating with Zapier, you'll generally be filling out all of the information that you would provide if you're doing the same thing manually in Gmail or HubSpot or Shopify. So to send an automated email with Gmail, you'll need all the information you typically use to compose the email: a recipient, a subject, a body, and so on. It's time for pro tip number 3. Make sure to use dynamic data as applicable to build useful automations. You can enter text directly into fields like this, but you can also hit / or the plus button to pull up dynamic data. These are all of the variables retrieved in the trigger or earlier steps in the automation. In this to field, I'm going to enter the email address variable retrieved in the trigger. This way, the email will be sent to whichever address is listed in the new row, instead of just going to a single static email address. Using dynamic data like this is what makes Zapier automations so useful. You don't just have to repeat the exact same actions in the exact same way. Your automations can gather and create unique data every time they run. So I'm going to fill out the rest of this email in the same way. I'll compose a static subject line and body, but I'll fill in some key information with dynamic data along the way. Once your email is all set, you can proceed to the test window. But before you click on anything here, I've got another pro tip for you, although this one's a bit more of a warning. Be very careful when testing actions in Zapier. Testing an action will actually run that action in your app with the data you've selected. So testing this Gmail step will really send an email to the address listed here. Make sure you've chosen appropriate test data before continuing, like an email address you have access to. Everything here looks good, so I'll click Test Step. After a moment, Zapier says it was successful, and a message was sent to Gmail. And if I open up my inbox here, I can confirm that. There's a new email exactly as we configured it. And there's an identical one in the address that I CC'd. Perfect. Back in Zapier, you can click Publish to activate your Zap. Now, it will run whenever the trigger condition occurs. So let's give it a live test. I'll use this form to add a new row to the Google Sheet. And when I check my inbox, I can see the new message. Perfect. Note that there are two types of triggers that watch for incoming data in Zapier: instant and polling. New row is an instant trigger, so our automation ran instantly after I submitted the form. Polling triggers will run on a set schedule. On free plans, you can only run polling triggers every 15 minutes, but pro plans will let you cut that interval down to just 2 minutes, and higher tiers can run polling triggers every minute. So the higher cost comes with faster automations. Now for the final pro tip. If you need to check your Zaps activity for troubleshooting or any other reason, then go to the Zap Runs menu. You'll find that here on the left. It's the clock icon. you'll see a list of every time the Zap has run in the specified time window, excluding test actions. So we can see just one run here, the one time the Zap actually ran after being published. When you hit errors or unexpected results, this is a great resource for figuring out what went wrong or what was misconfigured. Your first automation in Zapier is all set, but bear in mind that this simple two-step Zap is just a starting point. There are tons of ways you could build on this basic setup to accomplish much more with automation. For starters, you can always just add more steps. For instance, you might want to add a Slack step that sends an alert to your team for every new form submission. This can be a great way to keep your team in the loop about whatever's happening in your spreadsheet. But maybe the templated email itself is a bit too rigid for your use case. Sure, the dynamic data will update for each run, but all of the static text will be the exact same every time. If you want a completely unique email for each person who reaches out, you could have it composed by AI instead. Just add an OpenAI step before the Gmail step and send whatever prompt you'd like, including data retrieved from Google Sheets in the trigger. Then you can send the AI's response in the email, although you might want to just have it compose a draft that you check before sending. I've made a separate tutorial about automating OpenAI with Zapier that you can check out for more details. That's linked on your screen now and in the resources board that you can find in the description. In addition to adding more steps in external applications, you can also use Zapier's built-in tools for filtering and flow control. In many cases, you'll want to run different automated actions based on different conditions. With filters, you can stop the automation from running after any given step unless the data being processed meets your custom criteria. For instance, you might want to skip sending an email to clients who selected a high budget range and instead send a personally crafted reply manually. If you want to perform different actions to match the incoming data, you can use paths. The Paths tool adds branching paths to your automation, giving your Zap different options for what to do based on the data running through it. The automation will check the conditions for each path, and if the data it's processing meets those conditions, it will execute the actions in that path. You can also use loops to run the same set of actions repeatedly on a set of data, or use formatter tools to edit date-time values, text, numbers, and more. Again, the sky's the limit here. If you'd like to learn more, check out our full playlist of Zapier tutorials to take your no-code automation skills to the next level. With no-code automation providers like Zapier, robotic work becomes a thing of the past. By automating your mindless tasks, you'll create more time for you and your team to focus on the work that matters most. And if you'd like a hand building your automations, you can always reach out to us at XRay or LowCodeEngineers for support. If this video helped you out, like and subscribe to the channel for more AI and automation updates every single week. You can also find me and my company XRay by searching for XRay Automation on nearly every social media platform. For now, I've got to go, so until next time, find your focus and stay in flow.